just want to thank everyone for coming this morning. This is, I reckon, the first regular council meeting I know that we've done in the morning, so we've got a bigger crowd, so looks like we own to something. But, like I said, I want to thank you for coming to our regular council meeting here on May 9th. The invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Beth Rudisell.
Dear Heavenly Gracious Father, thank you for today. Thank you for bringing us all here safely. Lord, I want to pray for this town and the people of this town. I pray for their health and I pray for their safety. Lord, guide us as we conduct the town's business and move forward. Help us to work together as a council to accomplish our goals. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you have before you the agenda. Anyone would like to add anything or take anything off? If not, we'll need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous.
They're leaving for a call, but this is our new firefighter. I knew his last name, I couldn't think of his first name. Have a safe call.
See you, buddy. Okay, now we have the regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Have a motion?
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Citizens' requests and comments.
Thank you, Mayor Council. This morning, not this evening, come to you today to introduce our new employee, John Carpenter. He's filling the role as Street Department Crew Leader. Comes to us with 8 years' experience from the county of Lincoln. So we're glad to have him, and I hope you guys will welcome him.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
I think we all can say we're proud to steal another one, so. Thanks, John Carpenter.
Just spread the word out.
I have,
Glad to have you
Deal.
aboard.
thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Good.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hop on up here, Blake.
So this is Lisa Johnson, she's our new planner. She comes to us with a master's of public administration from Clemson University, and she has a lot of background in research and public policy, so we're glad to have her on board.
She actually starts tomorrow morning.
Good.
Welcome.
Good deal.
Unless Tar Heel fans won't hold Clemson against you.
We know who's best. I like it. I'll be in.
We got the news on Friday, so a few months ago, we applied for, gotta look at my notes, the North Carolina City and County Communicators Excellent in Communications Awards, and we put in an application for our new branding and logo initiative that we did back in December, and we won first place. So we won in the branding and logo category. So just wanted to tell y'all that.
And there will be a press release shortly.
It was sent out, so,
Okay.
yes.
Good deal.
Even though he left, I'll get up and talk about Luke. He has been a volunteer at Maiden for about 10 years now. He started as a junior firefighter in Lincoln County. What a lot of young firefighters do, they start out at the junior age, which is 15, 16, 17, in that age group. But he come to us, like I said, about 10 years ago. He's been a volunteer. He's worked his way through the ranks. He was training captain all the way up to this point. He's going to continue to assist in the training at the fire department, maintaining all of our training records. He lives here in Maiden. He's married to Megan Ruffey, which is Aaron Ruffey's daughter from ASR Graphics. So Luke brings a lot of knowledge to the fire department and has done a great job, and I hope that that continues for us. On another note, I've had some questions about our tanker. I know I told you a couple months ago it was scheduled to be done in March, because that's what I was told. I got an email last week that it was set to be done this Friday. I actually sent Todd some pictures yesterday of it, and it's pretty much on the end of wrapping up. So we're hopeful that this deadline's gonna be met after we've been told multiple deadlines. So if it is done this Friday, we're planning to head down next week to inspect it and pick up the truck and bring it back.
Good deal.
Thank you.
And later on, we'll go over it, but we had to issue another budget amendment for it because it's been so long, it's rolled off a couple times. So when we get to it, I'll explain it more in detail. So, but if you saw that in the agenda, that's what it's for.
I have a couple other comments. One man, a citizen, talked to me about a building that's in town in Maiden, the old Mr. Boutique building. I don't know the exact address. And how the exterior of that building is sort of falling off, and the look of that building. And did we have an ordinance for that, or is there anything that the town can
So
do?
commercial property, and Blake can get into it more than I can, but commercial property is different residential, but we did pass a minimum for commercial, did we not?
That's the minimum, and we can talk to Chad about that.
But in the budget, we're gonna go over something that actually I hope will help that,
I saw that.
so.
Okay. And the other thing I hate to bring up, but I received some more concerns about the graveyard.
Yes. So we have been addressing that. We're actually putting it out for bid. When's it going out for bid? It's this month, May the 15th. So, we will have it for bid. It bids for 30 days, then council awards the bid to a contractor. Hopefully, we will get more interest. We've had, other companies, we've reached out to other companies and basically talked them into bidding this time that did not bid before. But we have been made aware of it. It is not lost on council, I promise you that. We have, we've actually contemplating this, doing it in-house. We just don't have
Right.
right now, so it'll probably be 2 more months, and then, council will have an opportunity to, select a new contractor if they desire to do so.
Okay.
Contractor has been put on a week lease as of last week.
Okay.
During the heavy growing season, so hopefully.
And as I know, previously their plan was just based on their manpower, they would like mow 1 week and maybe blow the next week, and
Yeah, we've stopped that. Because that's where a lot of complaints was coming from. They'd mow it, and then it'd be a day or two before they got out there to blow it off. When that day or two, 4, 5, 6 people came. So now we've instructed them to mow and blow, even if you have to do section by section.
that was this person's real
Yes.
concern, because they had, I mean, it was grass that was already turned brown on just covering graves.
Yes.
Well, and the edging's terrible too. They're, around foot markers, I've noticed it's hit or miss. on
So
if
last, I
trimming's
think
being
2 or 3 times they've mowed, we've had to have them come back and touch it up after they got done.
Right.
We are going out there every week after they mow and looking behind them. But, like I said, we're going out for bid.
Okay.
We're not issuing, we're not extending the contract. We're going out for bid.
Okay. That's all I got.
The standard was set so high with the form.
Why don't we send him out there to monitor on a regular basis?
I don't know if I can handle it no more, I don't
Can you do
know.
the training for it or something?
Yeah, trainee.
Did they get the fire ants sprayed over there, or taken in control?
Yeah. Again, that's something else that we've been fighting. The stuff we used to use, you can no longer use anymore. And so the stuff we use now, and they will tell you when you use it, all it does is disperse them 10 feet. And so it's a fighting battle, but I also know that we're in contract with a new chemical supplier as well. And we may have to get some additional training and some additional certification to be able to use it, but we are addressing that as well. Trust me, the cemetery is not, it's on the top of our watch list, I guess you'd say, because we do get a lot of conversations about that every day.
Is anyone else would like to speak?
Yes, on the 20th of this month, we'll be celebrating Juneteenth. Me and Anna have been working with the county library, and so far we've got a tight knit on everything this year, hopefully. So that's a go this year. So just want to appreciate everybody that was involved last year, and hopefully get more this year. Holly was on the call also, so just want everybody to come together that Saturday. I know we have a job at the 5 that night, so it'll kind of be a little busy weekend for everybody, our workers and stuff. So I just appreciate everybody.
Did you say this month? For
This
June?
month,
May 20th.
Maybe 20th that Saturday. It'll be from 11 to 3. Is that right, Anna? 3?
Yes.
Okay.
And can I just add one thing to that?
Uh-huh.
We've had a lot of people asking about why it's on,
The 20th.
yeah, we've had a lot of people asking on social media and stuff why it's in May. And the reason for that is whenever we worked with the county last year, they did everything in that 1 week and a lot of events were overlapping. So this year, the whole county made a decision to do it from May 20th to June 20th, and Maiden volunteered to be the kickoff for the whole county. So that's what we're gonna be on May 20th. So if
20th.
anybody asks you, it's because the whole county decided to spread it out over the month. That way, every event could have more participation. They're not overlapping. That's why.
And you also secured a grant to pay for,
Yes, we got a grant from the Catawba Arts Council again, like we did last year, to pay for a bouncy house and a DJ this year. So we're gonna do a DJ instead of the singers, so more people maybe line dancing and all that stuff. And then we got a bouncy house just like they have at the Jive After Vibes. So,
thank you.
This is for Keaton. I've been asked if you could possibly look at, if there would be room, space, or parking areas where you could designate, handicap parking.
For baseball games?
Yep. Because there's a lot of old folks come over and watch your grandparents, or grandchildren, and, I was asked, and I said, well, I'll bring that up, I'm sure it could be worked out somehow or another, so if you could just look at it and see what can be done.
Yeah, I believe we only have a few handicap spots over there. We could probably look at expanding that.
That's all I've got.
That's it. Anyone else? If not, we're gonna move right along. You have before you the consent agenda item, which consists of the finance officer's report for the month of April.
I got one question or one comment. Would it be possible to add another column to this report as far as year-to-date received instead of just month? Because it's kind of, you look at it and say, oh gosh, we've only got 14,000, only 0.19% of the budget, but I know it's 5 or 6 months into the year, so if we'd have one more column said, year-to-date or whatever, would be nice.
I think we already do it. We just don't put it on this report. So that won't be a problem.
I'll make a motion, we accept the financial officer's report for April.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Retiring PO sidearm.
Yeah, so under North Carolina General Statute 2187-2, and it's always been a tradition at every city, including Maiden, that when a police officer retires, they are issued their sidearm, which is, in this case, is a Glock Model 48, and with 2 magazines and the current badge, there will not be any ammunition issued. It's a nice thing we do in the ceremony. There was some question as if we ever approved just allowing staff to sign off on it. So therefore, we brought it before council just to make sure that we cover all the bases and council can vote on it. And also it gives y'all an opportunity to be a part of a retiring police officer as well. So Mr. Captain Fletcher is due to retire June 30th, and we would like to, at that time, issue him his sidearm, the 2 magazines, and his current badge upon his official retirement.
And if you don't want it, I'll take it.
So I'll make a motion that we approve retiring the sidearm for Captain Jamie Fletcher along with his issued badge.
We have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Request for procurement.
Yeah, so, as you know, we're going out for AMI. This is a large project, and so we included, Wesley into making sure we crossed all our, Ts and dotted all our Is, because because it's such a big project, and we don't wanna make sure that we miss a step and the vendor we don't pick has recourse. So, in that sense, we're requesting council approve us to go out for RFP, and it would require a motion and a second, after which we will go through the vendors that apply. We will come back to council, and council will award the contract based on that, and it will be a separate project budget ordinance. It will not be included in the operational budget because we're just not 100% sure we can get it all done in 12 months with supply, with as long as it's taken to do everything. There's 4 or 5 things we're gonna try to do this year that we're just not 100% sure we can get done in 12 months. So did I answer all those questions like I was supposed to, Wesley?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Well, it's, for the amount at issue, you gotta go through what's called a formal bidding procedure, which just has a little more formality to it and hoops to jump through.
So this is the first step of a long process.
I noticed there's a lot of detail in this thing, which I like. I'm just concerned on one particular item, and that's requiring the company to interface with our billing system. And I just wonder if that will that present a problem?
If we don't do that, that's gonna present a huge problem for us.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
I just
so-
wonder how many companies would interface with our current billing system.
Most of the ones that we would want to do it have that ability.
Okay.
In fact, I'd say all of them do.
Fortunately, we have a new enough billing system that they all should be able to integrate with it. That's all.
It's probably API integration, which is universal and it's real-time communication, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I make a motion, we authorize staff to proceed with the procurement of the AMI system.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion is carried unanimous. Establish public hearing date for June 13th to consider the Maiden Comprehensive Plan.
You don't have to get up, Blake, I'll take it. This is very simple. We just have to have a public hearing in our June meeting to go over the Maiden Comp Plan. Many of y'all, all of you've seen it. All of you's been to at least one meeting over it. And by statute, we just got a call for a public hearing for June 13th.
Mr. Mayor, I so move.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Ordinances, resolutions, and proclamations. Ordinance 24-2023, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget in the Fire Department Construction Fund 46.
Good morning. This budget ordinance, budget amendment, is for the grant funds that we received from the state local appropriations. We did receive that money, so we need to approve the amendment to bring the funds in and put them in the Fire Department Construction Fund.
That was what, $750,000
Yes, sir.
Yes. And this was the money from the previous.
Yes.
last year's.
Yeah.
promise.
It takes a while for it, but we got it, so.
And in the middle of all of our paperwork, the girl that I had been working with left. So
Oh, no.
I got assigned to a new grant administrator or something, and that took a while, but
I make a motion, we approve ordinance 24-2023.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The motion is carried unanimous. Ordinance 25-2023, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget in the general fund.
this budget amendment is for $350,000 for the purchase of the fire tanker truck. We did do a budget amendment last fiscal year for that, and then because of the delays, we never issued a PO. Those funds rolled back into the general fund. So this is just to issue a PO to purchase that truck.
And the third time's the charm.
We hope.
So I'll move we approve ordinance 25-2023 to amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget in the general fund.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Resolution 11-2023, a resolution authorizing a formal bidding process.
So this is step 2 of that. It has to be done, after you do the, request for procurement. Now you have to pass a resolution allowing staff to, go into a formal bidding process. It's just paperwork.
Make a motion that we approve resolution number 11-2023, authorizing a formal bidding process.
I have a motion.
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion is carried unanimous. Proclamation proclaiming May 20th, 2023 as Juneteenth Celebration Day. So we have a proclamation here where it says, whereas the emancipation and proclamation was issued on January 1st, 1863 by President Abraham Lincoln, setting in motion the end of slavery in the United States, and whereas General Lee surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse April 9th, 1865, which ended the Civil War, whereas Juneteenth became known as a celebration to end of slavery and is the oldest known public celebration to the end of slavery in the United States, and whereas Juneteenth celebrates the success gained through education and greater opportunity, camaraderie, African Americans, freedom, and whereas celebration of Juneteenth reminds us of the promises of freedom, equality, and opportunity which are the core of the American dream, and whereas Juneteenth reminds us of our capacity to heal, hope, and emerge from out of darkness moments with the purpose and resolve. Now therefore, I, Max Bumgarner Jr., Mayor of the Town of Maiden, on behalf of the Maiden Town Council, do hereby proclaim May 20th, 2023 in celebration of Juneteenth Day in the Town of Maiden.
And that's a proclamation, so therefore we do not need a motion.
That was my error, sorry.
No problem.
Now we're going to fiscal year 2023-2024 budget presentation.
Since I know how to use a timer. All right, so, y'all have had this for a few weeks. We went over it. We started in staff started in November with this. Council, I believe, we went over a lot of this in January. If you have any questions during this presentation, just don't hesitate to ask. I'm gonna move rather quickly unless y'all do have any conversations, because we have went over this multiple times, most of it. As always, a budget objective is to balance the constraints of the town's revenues with the town's responsibility to provide quality municipal service at the lowest possible cost to the taxpayer. With doing that, your expenditures need to equal your revenues, and we need to continue to move forward as a town, not standing still. Wholesale rates and contractor fees. This year, we're looking at a 5% decrease to the wholesale and electric, but also please note that we're projected to lose at least 6% of our revenues off of uses due to slowdowns at our larger industrial customers and them becoming more energy efficient. So while 5% decrease sounds great, we're looking at losing overall 6% in our uses. So it's a little bit more than a wash, but not much. We're losing more money than we did last year, but it's still within margin of error. Wholesale water rates from the city of Hickory are going up 10%. We do not buy sewer from Hickory, but they're also going up 10%, and you'll see later on ours is going to have to increase too. It's just 100% due to cost of providing the service and cost of materials and chemicals. I believe the chemicals are up almost 190% right now. Republic Trash is going up 3.5%. This is the last year of our contract. Next year, we will have to renegotiate unless they automatically renew it, which they're losing money, so I do not see that happening. On top of this, fees at landfill are also going up. So keep in mind, whenever we pick up, when we say sanitation, it's not just the trash and recycle we pick up. The cost of sanitation to the town is picking up anything that a customer or a citizen puts at the road. So the knuckle boom truck that goes around, leaf truck, all that goes into sanitation. The labor and the materials do not. It's 100% of cost of dumping it. So, health insurance, actually, I sent out something yesterday or the day before. We've got this negotiated down. Really, really, really good rates this year. Employees' rates are going up. The cost to insure an employee is going up, but very minimum. The cost that we can actually provide insurance to our employees' children is actually going down. So that is a huge recruiting tool when we try to go out and recruit new employees. He's already gone. But and maintain the ones that we have. Major questions regarding the recommended budget. My recommendation calls for the property tax rate to stay the same. Electric rates to stay the same. Water rates, 4% increase. We do have one major water customer in town. I have already spoke to them about the increase, and the one I spoke to understood and said he'd pass along. I have not heard anything else from them. We always try to give our companies a heads up, especially our larger ones. Sewer rates are going up 5.5%, and I don't know if that's enough, to be completely honest with you, but I've tried to keep it as low as I possibly could. Let me go back to electric rates for 1 second. There's no change to all but 5 CP customers. We have met with them over the next 5 years. We're getting them off the CP rate. Some of them are going up as much as 42% over the next 5 years. We have sat down, we've talked to them, we've explained it to them. All of them understand it. None of them really griped, I would say. Some of them wished it hadn't happened right now, but they understand it. And we've also, it was important to note that we had only went up 0.4% over the last 10 years. So if we did a 2% compounded like most utilities done, it'd be much greater than what they're facing. So they understood it. Sanitation fees in this recommended budget is due to go down 36.7% decrease. So the new monthly fee for that would be $812. This is what I was talking about. The cost to provide trash, recycled, e-waste in bulk at the house is roughly about $18.77 a month per household. Now, the more households you have, the more that gets spread out. So as we add houses, that goes down a few pennies per house each month. But again, that does not count if we have to go out and buy a new knuckle boom. That does not go in this figure. The people that we pay to go around and pick up leaves and pick up brush, that is 100% cost of Republic services and what it costs to pay our landfill fees.
Todd, I think might be worth noting that several years ago, we as a council decided to raise rates on a yearly basis to at least break even and stay even with the sanitation rates. And that this year was supposed to be our break-even point.
Yeah.
And we're backing off of that, so.
Yeah, we're giving them some relief because of other
Give
factors.
relief, so that's a big point there.
Yeah.
You know, not only $5, but it's actually almost $10 a month that we're absorbing on sanitation.
Yes, actually, I think it's a little bit more than that, but you're right.
Yeah, right.
The
Round
ratio
figures.
was planned to be 100% through fees and run as an enterprise fund. We kind of backed off to give some relief with other things going up the way they are. Ratio this year would be 43.25% in fees, which is $8.12, and 56.75 fees in general fund, which is $10.65 a month per household. Sorry. So the average customer will save about $128 a year by doing this way. It'll give them some relief on their utility bills. This is one area where if you have to absorb something, this is the best place to do it, in my opinion. The average inside residential customer's total bill will actually decrease $3.13 a month on top when you add in the increases for water and sewer, and then take out the decrease of 37.6% for sanitation fees. Tax base for 2023, 2024 is $2.39 billion. It's broken down right there, and I'll get into it a little bit more. This is a easier way to understand, I think. Your residential make up about 10.9% of your tax base. Your commercial makes up 4.8%. Public utilities make up 1.7%. And the big dog and the big elephant in the room is the industrial, which makes up 82.6%. If you look at our ad valorem tax and incentives at a 99% collection rate, which I know Ronnie likes to see that because we used to do it 97%, and we always collected 99%. I was like, we gotta get 7 or 8 years of that before I feel comfortable enough to do that, because we're probably one of the only cities that does their collection rate at 99%.
I think our financial person does a great job collecting those taxes.
Yeah, so most cities are 95%. We went from 95 to 97. Now we're at 99, which I feel certain we're gonna collect. I don't think we've been under 99 in the last 8 or 9 years, maybe longer than that. The incentive, we have two incentives, two big incentives that are in this year's budget. The first one's Apple. They're in year 14, I believe it is, 13 or 14 of their incentive agreement. This year they will pay $6.1 million in property taxes. Their incentive grant is $4.7 million back, and that would net the town $1.4 million. GKN is a little bit lower. This is the last year of this incentive agreement. If you remember, a few years ago, it was over $500,000. This year it's $81,000. It's the last year of it. Property tax is $977. Incentives is $81. Net would be $895. Now, it's important to know on the Apple one, we did it last year. This is based off of what they are projecting. This is the minimum that they are projecting. If they replace a generator, if they add into a building, if they do anything above what they've done already, that number will go up. So we'll make more money but I can't base my budget off of what ifs. So I'm sitting here telling you this is probably going to change. I just don't know how much. It may be 10,000. It may be $1 million. I have no idea.
Todd, is that the same thing for GKN also, if they would do something other?
No, it's pretty much set because it's their grant, and I'm gonna tell you a lie. I can't remember if the last one is on CIP or if it's on actual property taxes paid, because there was two of them running side by side. One rolled off last year. I want to say the one that rolled off last year was on actual taxes paid. The last one that we're paying is on construction in progress. So, or vice versa, excuse me. Construction in progress rolled off, actual taxes paid is this year, and GKN don't normally, they normally hit theirs pretty close on that because they don't change servers and stuff like Apple do.
If they would expand or
That would hit the next year's
hit
tax.
the next year, but this same agreement would still go They have to go through a new agreement
Yes,
process.
if they expanded, they would ask for a new agreement.
Okay.
Net gain in property taxes this year. So this is I know this is really, complicated, not complicated, but really busy and really small, so just bear with me for a second, and you'll see. Do I have a pointer on this thing? Yeah, oh, it don't show up on TV. So last year, if you look at the second line, I should have flipped them, but my math wouldn't work if I did that. My second line is 1.9 billion. That's what our tax base was last year. This year, we're projected 2.39 billion, a difference of $412 million. If you times that by 38, which is our current tax rate, times it by 0.38, it comes up to $1.5 million. And that sounds like a lot of money, but remember, our incentive agreements are based off of property taxes. The net increase to those two incentive agreements is 1.1 million. So the net gain in property taxes for next year is $435,000. Now, I am not knocking on any of my departments, so Luke, don't take offense. But in one department, we're going from volunteers to paid. That one department went up more than this year. So did we really gain anything? So we really did. Hopefully, we will collect more property tax than I recommended, and this number is bigger, but again, I can't deal in word else. I gotta deal with the conservative numbers that I'm getting. Because I don't wanna come to you at the end of the year and be like, I missed it by 4%. Well, 4% on $2.4 billion is a really, really big number. So, average property in Maiden, the average home in Maiden is 1,400 square feet. Average residential value is 221,000. If you do the math, that's roughly $842.22 a year. This presentation was really, really accurate until about a week ago when the Shell station and everybody lowered the cost of bottled water. So I Google searched it, and it's the average in North Carolina still, but actually it kind of messed me up a little bit. So if you break that down, that's about $2.31 a day. Up until a couple weeks ago, bottled water at most gas stations around here was $2.39. $2.39. So if you actually Google it, I want to say it was Big Lots that popped up. I stole that image from. It's actually $2.39. So everybody was giving me a hard time about using coffee last time, so I tried to use bottled water, and it came back to bite me. So there you go. Projected revenues this year. Our operational budget is going to be around $25 million. That's $12.9 million in general fund, 8 cents in an electric fund, and then 3.4 in water and sewer fund. Now, the water and sewer fund is going up dramatically, but remember, a lot of that's it's a wash through. We're bringing up our revenues, but we're sending it right back out with expenditures. Same thing with electric fund and general fund to a great deal, especially electric fund, when a transformer is up another 12% over last month. So it's got to end at some point. It's got to. Transfers amounts, we always transfer 5% from each one to cover office supplies, not having we do dual things, so customer service, the person who takes the utility bill, that's their main job. A portion of their salary comes out of the utility funds. General highlights, this is the grant I was talking about earlier. I noticed you read over the grant. So it started out when I first came here, it was $500 grant, you get $250 and $250. Now we're looking at going up to a $20,000 grant. This will limit the number of grants we're able to hand out. It will be a 1 year per property owner grant, and it will also be first come, first serve. So if the property owner on a commercial property invests $20 million to make their building look better, they can get up to a $10,000 match. Before July 1, me and Wes is going to have to sit down and we're going to have to make sure that the current form we have meets the new standards and new laws, because I do not think it does. So give you a quick oversight. It's pretty easy how it works. They apply with Blake. Blake says yes or no, unless it's something just ridiculous. I don't know that we've ever turned one down. We've had to work with them to make sure that they fit what we needed. They can't use it on the inside, it has to be on the outside. But then me and the mayor sign off on it, and then after the work's done, they turn in the receipts, and then within 2 weeks, they get a check. It's pretty simple. It's the simplest grant you ever deal with. But when we're going from $500 to $1,000, 25, we're getting up to the numbers now that we're talking about major improvements. I want to make sure that our forms meet state standards. Administration, just, the only thing really is, we got more money in there for some employee training. Finance, we got a QR scanner for utility bills, so starting next year, starting in July, hopefully, when the utility bills come out, they have a QR code on it. Instead of typing in, and I know it don't sound like a lot, but just go up there and do it for a day when you have 300 people come through drive-through, and it's a lot. Right now, you have to type in the account number, type in another number. You have to do 3 different things before you get to the page where you can actually pay. I've been told that this QR scanner takes you straight to that page. It saves 35, 45 seconds per customer, times that by 300. That's actually some real savings there.
That's gonna be actually on the bill?
Yes.
Could the customer scan that and pay from that?
We haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
So, IT, replacement of some critical switches, server replacement for the police department, access control additions. That has actually saved the town a lot of money now. So now everybody has a fob. They can scan themselves in instead of an actual key. If somebody leaves in not the best terms, we don't have to fight to get the key back. We just discontinue the fob. Luckily, we've not had that many issues with that over the last few years, but Max, I think, can remember several years ago, we ended up having to rekey every lock in town because people that never even worked with the town had keys to the gate to Public Works and was going down and dumping trash. It was kind of nuts. But this takes care of that. I met people in town I never even knew when we changed all the locks because they couldn't get in their hunting land. It was interesting. Upgrade to the town sign screen. So the sign that's downtown, we've had that 14 years now. This will replace the screen with a new type. It's getting hard to find replacement parts for that one because it is out of date, which means I'm getting old because I remember I was a young buck when we bought that thing. Planning and zoning, adding 1 planning position, which she's here today. Increased training and technology. And town hall, increased supplies and materials. If you've been in the back, you've noticed that the office that was the mayor's has been divided into 2. We're really, really close to finishing that up. And furniture for the new office is due here any day. So we'll be ready to move Lisa in. So. Highlights police is one additional officer. HVAC system maintenance and repairs, I believe last year, I want to say it was $30,000 or $40,000 we ended up spending on the HVAC system, and it needs some more work done to it. They just don't build them like they used to. Body in-car camera system replacement. This came to the item end of life cycle for that. And the animal control fees in Catawba County are now $28,000, up from $19,000 in 2021, 2022. And I want to say there was about $3,000 or $4,000 10 years ago. So cost of gelling animals are continuing to go up. Vehicle replacement cycle.
Todd, is that our cost of $28,000 for animal control?
Yeah, and I
to
want
the
to
county?
Yeah, that's just our part. And if you do that per animal, it's several $100s per animal. But it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But we're not the only one. I mean,
it's every municipality is going to get that same.
It's based on a formula. It's not based on how many. So the bigger you are, the more you pay. Like I would hate to know what.
I hate to see what Hickory's is paying in.
Yeah.
Do you have to do that service through the county?
If not, I don't know where you're going to take them. We've looked at other options. I mean.
Yeah.
And
that is still a lot cheaper than doing it ourselves.
And the big thing about that too, and I don't know if it's still in effect, but an individual cannot take an animal to the animal control and turn it in. You have to go through the police department.
That's supposed to have changed.
Yeah.
That's supposed to have changed.
We've had that conversation about that.
So they switched from, and I don't, I think it was the Humane Society that was running it, now they went back to the county, so they've switched some things up there.
Yeah.
Fire, we were gonna look at adding 3 additional, staffing for, firefighters through a safer grant. If not, that will come out of general fund. Turnout gear, medical supplies and replacement of all our AEDs, utility increases, nozzle replacement. It's also important to know that next year's budget, just like we did body cameras systems for police this year in the life cycle, next year we'll be doing radios, $150,000 to $200,000 items. So just keep that in the back of your mind that that will be in fire next year.
Just for public knowledge, how much does it cost for new turnout gear? One set?
Now for helmet, pants, coat, gloves, boots, you're about close to $5,000. When pre-COVID, it was looking about 3,000.
So. Garage is a 4-post lift, pressure washer replacement. And then fleet management is gonna be in every one of the public works ones. That is the, enterprise fleet management system that we entered into, last year. We're gonna give it one more year and we may or may not stick with it, cause, they're really nice people. It is a savings of money, but they're having the same problem we're having finding vehicles. So last 2 or 3 vehicles we bought, we actually went through, just word of mouth. Other agencies knew that we was looking for one, they couldn't take it, they let us know, and then, I think the fire chief's, truck vehicle was Kevin that lives in town, was like, hey, we can get you in line, so, getting a vehicle now is very, very difficult. Streets, snowplows upgrades, we was very fortunate, well, depending on how you look at it. I work for the town, so I don't like it when it snows, so, other people like it snowing 10 foot. We, had very little snow, if any, this year, so we got very lucky, but, snowplow upgrades are needed. We do not want to be caught, not being able to remove snow if it does come. Fleet management again. Powellville, we were paving, South 3rd Avenue from Carpenter to East Pine, and paving Pine Street from 2nd to 5th. There's $135,000 in the budget to do this. We're hoping that's enough. If not, we may end up coming back and asking for a budget amendment to pave these 2 streets. If you remember, during COVID, we took advantage of the state not doing any paving, and people have short memories, but it's okay to remind them very nicely. But we did do about 10.5 years worth of paving in about 3 months. So I know, and I would challenge people to go to other cities and ride around their streets. Ours are bad, theirs are much, much worse. So we're doing the best we can with the money we have, but we did spend, I want to say about $700,000 to pave a lot of streets and do a lot of sidewalk, curbing and stuff during COVID when the state issued, quit doing all their paving. We took advantage of that. So, sanitation is 3.5% increase from Republic. Again, this is the last year of our current contract. Next year, we're probably going to end up negotiating with other cities instead of doing a standalone contract. Try to get it numbers or power. So if we can get 3 or 4 other cities in Catawba County to go along with us and we all get the same contract, we may get better terms. Increase in tonnage and landfill fees is also included in that. We're picking up more tonnage at the streets. So that you understand, people understand, the can at the road costs one thing, it's a fixed fee, right? They dump it, they take it to the landfill. So if I have 5 pounds of trash and Bob has 25 pounds of trash, we both pay the same amount, but it costs the town different. And so we have to pay for that tonnage once it's in the landfill, all right? So that's why I'd rather, we would hope people would not bring in trash from outside, but it's really difficult to cut that down. If you just go over on a wreck after a weekend, you can see that. I took some pictures of your garbage can. There was 4 bags sitting on top of it, and it was not our bags. So, but I will note that if y'all remember, before we had the cans, people would just set bags at the road and we'd pick it up. The first day that we went to, the first week we went to cans, our tonnage went down over 33%. And I will stand here and argue till I'm blue in the face. I believe probably 90% of that was people bringing their trash from the outside and just setting it on Fifth Avenue at somebody, at Aunt Sally's house or Uncle Joe's house, and they don't do that anymore. So, recreation, a mower, football equipment replacement. No matter if a football helmet gets used 0 times, or if it gets used 10 times, no matter what, after 10 years, you have to replace the football helmets. Football helmets used to be $35-40. They're $200 now. So, that's why that's on here. Historically, council wouldn't even know that we were buying football equipment, but it's gotten to the price now that we're having to bring that up. Resurfacing infield of Field 3, tinting the community room windows. If you ever go over there during senior morning out, we've replaced those blinds several times, but they get messed up. I don't think anybody does it on purpose, but just general use, renting out the facilities. So we're looking at tinting the windows to cut down on some of that light that goes in that room.
Todd, what is resurfacing infield?
So, we have the fields on a cycle, and so just general use dragging the field, when you drag it, it pushes all the dirt out and you get a lip
Yep.
between what,
Okay.
and what they do is they come in and level it all out and they grade it, so when it rains, the water goes to the side that we want it to, and it fills it out. So I wanna say we do one field every year, is that right?
Roughly, so 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
So-
removing the lip out from grass to the infield.
Yeah, and
I know
if
what
you
you're
have
talking
kids who play anything from t-ball to baseball to softball, church league, kickball, that lip can be dangerous if you're running, you can trip over, and it's just not safe. So, it takes years for it to get there, but if we keep one field, instead of doing all the fields at one time, we just try to do one per year. And then AC to gym, this is something that we've been trying to do ever since my first budget year was brought up. We have, been unsuccessful in getting somebody to give us a quote. They do not want to go through that load-bearing wall. They do not want to breach it. I was actually bringing this up to another manager. He goes, I got you a guy. He did some work for us. We called him, and he came out and gave us a quote. We're going to have to put some money that we have saved back in with what's in the current budget to make it happen, but if council wants to move forward with it, that's what we're planning on doing. I want to say the quote was $170,000 for everything, and that's including breaching that load-bearing wall.
It's cheap.
Yeah, I was told 3 years ago that 300 grand wouldn't touch it. So, it's about half of what we was expecting. So, I will also say, if you go in there in the summertime, that gym can get 80, 85 degrees. And when you got young kids trying to run summer camps and grandparents in there, sometimes we take them out of the gym and put them in the community room just because of safety issues, and I'm not picking on young kids. I got young kids. 85 degrees when I was a kid probably wasn't nothing when other people's kids don't get out and heat and run around like they used to. So heat exhaustion is a real thing now.
Todd, one thing before we go any further, talking about the tinting of the community room windows.
Yes, sir.
Down in the gym, I guess it would be the south side where the window's up top. At times, and I don't know, mostly I've noticed it basketball season.
Yep.
That sun just comes through those windows. Could those be tinted also?
So we tinted the ones below them, and that's why there's wood up there now. It got so hot they busted.
Oh, okay.
So we've actually looked at putting a blind up there. The difficulty is it's so high, trying to find a way that we can roll it up when we need to, roll it down when we need to.
Right.
We are looking at that. We've just not come up with a really good solution yet.
Okay.
So, yes, I have sat there many a Saturday morning with the sun in my eyes as well. It's not fun. The good news is it only lasts about 15, 20 minutes, but that 15, 20 minutes is
Pretty tough.
Yeah. Cemetery, no material changes as of yet. Just keep in mind that depending on what the bids come in, we may need to address this. Adjust this. Excuse me. General fund, Fund 30. We have 1,248 total customers as of 3 weeks ago when we did this. Purchase power is 4.8 million. Systems operations 2.5 for a total of 7.4 for operational costs. Our rate stabilization fund is $1.2 million. We have that in case, God forbid, we have an ice storm. Brian don't like me talking about it. We are due. We haven't had one in 20 years. When that comes through, we're gonna need that rate stabilization money. For a total budget of 8.6 million. Here's the breakdown of our customers. You can look at them. Most of them are inside. The vast majority of them are residential. We do have 125 commercial, 85 industrial, and 41 institutional. Institutionals are schools or churches. We own 1.2891% of Municipal Power HC1, which owns part of the Catawba Nuclear Power Plant. While I'm on this, if any of y'all would like to tour that, there's always an opportunity for you to do so. Just let Brian know. He will set it up with Kevin in Electric Cities. I've been here 15 years. I'm perfectly fine not walking into a nuclear station, but if y'all would like to do so, we can set that up. This is the annual debt. Our debt went down $47 million last year. Town of Maiden's debt went down $613,000. We're currently, you can look and see what it's broken down into. I will say that one time, I could probably take this slide off now because it doesn't affect our rates like it used to. But back when it was $50 million in debt, it affected our rates tremendously. So, but that's the breakdown amongst the participations in North Carolina Municipal Power Agency 1. Highlights will be tree trimming. We doubled this last year to $95,000. I will say I think it's helped us out tremendously. Now if we could just get rid of the squirrels, we'd be doing all right. 10 years ago when we had a power blink, 9 times out of 10 it was a limb falling out of a tree. Now, 9 times out of 10 it's an animal, and 8 out of those 10 times it's a squirrel. It's a squirrel, snake, or bird. That's just what it is. We did have a raccoon, I believe, one time. So, yeah, it's always interesting to be sitting there at lunch and Shane sends you what sent the power blink that day. Then open wire secondary replacement, copper primary replacement, squirrel guarding circuit 1A, which is the one that runs down Boyd Street and catches part of Main Street. It's the one that Temple Furniture is on, the one that we have the most issues with. We have a lot of squirrel girls up now. This will complete it. And don't ask me exactly what it does. I've been told it just keeps squirrels from being able to get up into the lines. Not 100%, but makes it much more difficult. There's nothing we can do to stop it 100%. Fleet management again. Backup generator for a wreck. It's for the wreck, but it's mainly for our system because a lot of our technology and a lot of our SCADA for electric goes through the wreck as our loop. And it's the only Town of Maiden building that we have that does not have a backup generator. So, talking about a point of failure in our system, the wreck is the biggest one because it does not have a generator. So we're gonna take care of that. And then AMI, which you voted on today, is a separate budget ordinance, but that's gonna be part of it. Water and sewer customers, we have 2,100 water customers, around 1,700 sewer customers. Our budget for next year is projected to be $3.4 million. Water is at 1.6, sewer is 900,000, wastewater treatment is 738,000, and we do have $81,000 in debt. That is water lines that we've done out into county for customers who have well issues. I can't remember the name of the road, but one of them is where the water tower is on East Maiden Road. That community in behind it. Take a left, go down there and make an immediate right, that neighborhood down in there. That's one of the lines that we're paying debt on. And the other one, I want to say is Ramshore Road.
One of the Davidson ones, I'm sure, I think.
So there's your 2 roads that the county put in, and then we're paying 50% of it back over 20 years. So, and then we're also putting $115,000 back in capital reserves to address headworks over time, because that's going to be a big ticket item. That's going to be a huge ticket item. Here's the breakdown of your water customers. The vast majority of them are inside, but we do have a significant amount outside. Sewer customers, same way. Vast majority of them are inside, but we do have a significant part outside. Fund 35 highlights is fleet management. Water and sewer don't have a whole lot in it this year just because we're trying to cut costs as much as possible with the cost of providing the service going up at the rate it's going up. We will need a new sludge trailer. This trailer we have now, I believe, is 12 years old, and when we bought it, it was 20-year-old used one when we bought it. So it came to the end of life. We bought the tractor last year, buying the trailer this year.
Does our sludge go to Hickory?
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, trying to think. You know where Nakado's is? You know where Steve White
I know exactly where it
is?
is.
In behind Steve White.
I know where it is.
Yeah. I think that's actually Newton, but yeah. So,
But it's operated as a Hickory.
yes. So, and then on sewer, we have a $300,000 project for Carolina Mills outfall line. That will be a project budget as well. I know 300,000 in the great scheme of things is not a lot of money. I'm concerned that we're not gonna be able to do it in a 12-month process. So what we'll do is we'll bring it back before council. Council will give us authorization to bid it out. We'll bid it out. We'll bring it back, have a public hearing, and then council will vote on a separate, project budget to do that project. All because I'm trying to figure out ways not to roll POs 3 times over 3 budget years. So, do we have any questions? I know I went through a lot of information really quick, but like I said, this is the 3rd or 4th time you've seen a lot of it. So, if you have any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer any of them I can right now. This PowerPoint?
Or the budget, either or.
Under state law, I think it's in the clerk's office. We can put it online. We normally do that after it's approved.
Okay. So there's a copy available.
Yes, by law, you can go to clerk and get your printed off copy. And it will be available probably 30 minutes after this meeting. All right.
Next, we have call for a public hearing on June 13th to consider the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget.
Oh, one more thing. Instead of giving our employees only 2 weeks to go over next year's benefits, and I haven't heard any questions, so I'm assuming everybody's good with the benefits for insurance and everything. We're gonna go ahead and start letting the employees know what next year's benefit package looks like at the end of this month. That way they'll have a full month to go over it. It's really hard to get every employee we got in and out in 2 weeks. So, I just wanna let y'all know that.
Do you want a motion, Max?
Yeah, I need a motion for us to set the public hearing.
Make a motion that we call for a public hearing on June 13th, 2023, to consider the fiscal year 23-24 budget.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion's carried unanimous. Now I need a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we go into closed session.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, we can go now.